Hello, everybody, and welcome on this beautiful Friday to another Cresco AMA. You've got high expectations, and we're here to meet them. So join me first in welcoming our CTO, Amadeo Brands. Say hi. Hey,
Hello,
Robert.
everybody.
Hello. Thank you for joining
Derek.
us.
Hey, Felix. And last but not least, let's see who we have as a surprise guest. Oh, it's none other than Jessica Walker. Hello, Jessica.
Hey, how's it going?
Everything's well. How have you been?
Yeah, I've been really good. It's great to see all the Cresco team in one place.
It's
Yeah,
nice.
Jessica, thanks for joining us. Where are you right now?
So I am currently in sunny, very hot Dubai. I've been here for the AIBC conference, which went last week, and I'm deciding to stay for a few weeks and see what's going on with the blockchain and crypto world out in the UAE. And actually so much is happening in the Middle East when it comes to crypto and tech. It is crazy. I was so surprised at how much is moving.
That's super cool. That's amazing.
What about you, Robert? Where are you right now?
Yeah, so with Elsa and Felix and Sonia, we're in the office here in Geneva. And
nice.
and Derek and Monty are in London. And Amadeo, where are you?
Yeah, I'm still in Kiev, so I stayed in Kiev for a bit. It's actually quite nice weather here as well. And after me and Robert, we went to the Kiev Blockchain Conference for a bit to meet up with some developers and had some amazing tech discussions. I met some great people. I stayed here for a bit longer. My girlfriend is also from Kiev. We live together in Amsterdam, so we stayed a bit longer, and it's quite nice here. Yeah,
super cool. Well, Jessica, tell us more. What have you been doing since everybody's seen the videos that we did? With you and me, with Derek, and lots of our advisors. Everybody's seen that on our YouTube channel. So tell us what you've been doing since we chatted.
That was an amazing. I don't know if any of the community know, but I think we shot all of those videos in the space of about one long weekend. So we managed to get so much done, actually. It was really cool to meet with all the advisors and people that are involved in the project. So since then, I have been still based in Malta. I've been trying to gain a bit of a network. I've launched my own YouTube channel, and I've done some more stuff with the Being Crypto team as well. So 2 times a week, we do little news videos with stuff that's happening in the industry. And as you guys know, so much is happening in this space. 2021 has been a crazy year. We saw so many people look to enter the space. So many people try to learn about altcoins, and there was a lot of talking points. I don't know if it was the same for you, but I had a lot of people asking me very key questions about where the industry is growing, how they can get involved. And I thought there was time for me to answer some questions. So I launched a YouTube channel just trying to discuss just that.
That's amazing. And you had some really cool guests on. I saw the one with Dan Tapiero, and there was you got some great you got some cool guests.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I invite anyone that hasn't gone to check it out. It's literally just my name, Jessica Walker. It's not very creative, but the content was amazing. With Dan, we spoke about Wall Street getting into crypto finally. So the conversations are definitely ones that were relevant at the time and are still things people should be conscious of if they're looking to be more aware of what's happening right now in the space when it comes to trading or investing. And it's more kind of Bitcoin focused, but we have some very cool 5 altcoin projects for summer with John Doe, who is a top YouTuber for currency.com. So there are some nice content bits for everyone if you're a trader or if you're just looking to educate yourself a little bit more in crypto. Robert, you have to come on the show at some point.
I'd love to. Maybe Derek and Monty as well, or Amadeo. I'm not so interesting, but yeah, that sounds. Yeah, but it sounds really cool. So, and what about you? You have to come back to Geneva at one point in time because you lived here for a while, right?
I did. I lived in Geneva between 2015 and 2017. I actually worked for a Swiss bank, so that was how I kind of would go back and forward between Geneva and Eastern Europe. And Geneva is very cool. It's very quiet on Sundays for anyone that hasn't gone to Geneva.
It's very quiet all the time. You're very polite, Jessica. It's like super quiet. I bet Malta is more of like a party scene than Geneva is. So
Malta is a little bit of a party scene. It's true, but yeah, absolutely, it's it's definitely an
Crypto
interesting
party
one.
scene.
You guys have to come next time there's a conference. I'll host you guys and show you around. And
Well, Derek actually knows Malta
we had
very
an office
well,
in
right?
St. Julian's for a while, and so we used to take the team on the big nights out. We were down in Pocheville, ripping it up. But the office is right by Baluta Bay, so we know.
I live
we
right
know the
by the
place.
bay, so we know it very well. Awesome.
And it's a huge crypto scene there as well, right? In Malta.
Yeah, it really was in 2018 in particular. 2018, they really marketed it as a blockchain island. Derek, I'm sure you'll know this as well if you were based there. But since then, I think a lot of people found more interesting regulations in places like Estonia. So it lost a lot of its blockchain clientele as of lately. But there's still a very friendly approach for people that are in blockchain and crypto. And still a lot of digital nomads are based out in Malta. So if you go, you'll overhear a lot of crypto-friendly conversations.
That's super cool. And what about Dubai? Have you met many people in Dubai who are also doing interesting stuff?
So many. There's a lot of the top YouTubers here, and they're all very friendly and doing a lot of kind of like boat days and these kind of things. Everyone, the networking here is very big. A lot of the Emirates states are looking to launch blockchain centers, which are more friendly for startups, for example. And like CBDCs are being talked about as well. So there's a lot of crazy things. And outside the conference, there was actually a Bitcoin coated Lamborghini in orange. It was very tasteful.
That surprises me in the Gulf states that they'd be doing something flashy like that.
I know, right? It's exactly what I do.
You know, we were going to go to the conference in Dubai, and Amadeo dragged me to Kiev, and like literally there was like nothing flashy at all. And like we went to some of the dinners, and people would literally pull out a piece of paper and they'd be like doing math formulas, and they'd be showing like all this complex back end stuff. It was like there was like no marketing. I mean, we're looking for like back end devs, so that's one of the reasons we were there. So I guess that served its purpose, but you know, wasn't as exciting as it might have been in Dubai, you could say.
But you know, CIS countries have some of the best developers in the world. So you guys are doing something right by going there hunting for some developers.
So we have a great combination of developers now, because our developers are either, CIS, like Russian, Ukrainian, or whatever, particularly for the back end. And we've always had Galina and Tatiana who were doing like, you know, kind of the front end and design stuff. Either they're Russian speakers or they're from our community. So we're really excited. We've had like 2 amazing guys have joined from the community, and hopefully we've got a couple of others that'll join us. So it's right, Amadeo. It's like when Derek and I started the company, we thought we'll try to get, like when we went public, we thought we'll try to get like this amazing community that, you know, we were only dreaming that like we'd get thousands, and now we've got thousands. And like actually it's like, you know, people who've like got so involved that they're coding for us. It's amazing.
Very cool.
The team is getting together. We have 2 coders started last week, and next week also we have new people starting. Yeah, it's a lot of work trying to integrate the banks and building a lot of new cool things that we're probably going to talk about today. So
yeah, but no Lamborghinis in any color or with any symbols on them. That's cool. Okay, Slavian, shall we? Sure.
So, Jessica, what we normally do is we take the most asked questions from our community all over social media, in our own channels, and then we go in depth. So, would you like to help me out and read some of these aloud?
I would love to help you out. Are you going to explain the screen?
Okay, so let's start with the first question.
Okay, cool. So can we expect a Dodo update anytime soon? Totally understand the need for patience in some matters, but would love some update or any notion really. So who is the best person to direct this question to?
Well, I'm happy to take it. So yeah, it's very unfortunate that there was a hack on Dodo, and I can't actually give much of an update because we're a regulated company. We actually involved the Swiss federal police in that, who've contacted their counterparties in Singapore. and we're essentially waiting for the police report on that, and then we'll decide what we're going to do afterwards. So it's really disappointing, but these are one of the downsides, I guess, of being in crypto. But not too much damage was done. But yeah, we're waiting on we're waiting to learn more from the authorities. So.
And I'm sure the community will also really appreciate that you have taken these steps with the federal police, because it's such a long involvement when you do come to getting the authorities involved. But it really shows you being very proactive and not letting a kind of repercussion of this happen again, which is really important, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am very sorry to be intruding during the questions, but we have another very special guest that's just tapping on the door, and let's welcome him.
We're going to have a few special guests over the coming weeks.
That is true. So everybody say hi to David Galkstein. Hey, David.
Says he can't hear anything. It's the
What
problem
about now,
with-
David?
That's the problem with running a tech company, right? Because you can it's it's hard to blame the tech. It's always embarrassing.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful.
There he is.
What's going on,
Hello.
guys?
look at
Hi.
Hello,
Look at
hello,
that beard.
I'm just growing it out. I'm trying to become a rabbi.
It looks good. It suits you.
it looks really good. We usually hire people in the team based on the length of their beard. Because it shows that you're a serious-
natural minerals in my beard. No, I'm just just messing around with it until they go ahead and lift the restrictions here in the United States. Well, it's already kind of lifted, sort of.
Yeah, super cool. Well, we actually, no joke, we have this amazing guy Bertrand from our community who has this huge beard. It's so great. He says it shows that he's a really serious developer. He doesn't take time to shave. He just focuses on the code. I love it, on DevOps. You could pass for a coder.
I wish. God bless those coders, man.
So tell
David,
us
I want to ask, sorry, where in the world are you now?
New York City. I can't wait to move to Texas or Nebraska, wherever crypto is actually accepted. New York is horrific when it comes to cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Everybody left here anyway. There's nobody left. Everybody's a bunch of moving trucks. Everybody's leaving.
Yeah, it's true. It's like that scene in I Am Legend where it's all deserted. Apparently,
I swear, I just need to go. I need to get a shepherd and just walk around with one of those super soakers.
Great idea.
Must be interesting then, seeing New York so empty.
It's weird, really weird. Not where I grew up. Definitely not where I grew up.
Do you have plans to go to Miami Blockchain Week, which is on 1st of June?
I will try. I'm trying. But I want to go to a crypto conference, not something that's just named Bitcoin.
Start there and then see. Normally there's little small off events that are going around it, but I recommend it. I went to a blockchain conference last week and I missed them. I've missed networking, so I look forward to that.
In-person events are so cool.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, and I think in Dubai everything is open again, right, Jessica? Dubai is.
Everything is completely as normal. You just have to wear a mask and you have to sit down in a nightclub. Apart from that, it's business as usual, which feels really weird, but it's a very good sign because it shows that things are starting to come out of the past turbulent year that everyone had. Business is starting to come into normal play. So it's nice to see, actually.
Even if you're vaccinated?
you don't have to be vaccinated. You have to be vaccinated to go into specific nightclubs, but you can actually get around unvaccinated. I've not had the vaccination, for example.
Me either.
Fine.
I haven't done it.
Are you going to do
That's
it?
cool. I mean, I already had COVID, so I got like, what, 3 or 4 months to play with the antibodies, I guess, and then figure out if I'm going to actually take the vaccine. I don't know. I'm going to stay away from that area so like this YouTube doesn't get taken down or something.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good
funny.
point. Yeah. Wow, nice special guest you organized today, Slavin and Robert. It's pretty cool.
They're very,
That's
very
great.
cool people.
You know, one of the things we're excited about, David, is that so our retail product, our app, is coming out probably in the next month or so, maybe 2 months. It depends, but we're going to start progressively rolling it out, and we can launch it in the United States as well. You know, like WCRES is like, as you know, a security token. So it's like, and I don't know if you know, but the United States SEC is a little bit of a hassle to deal with. But like our actual like user, like our user app is something that we're going to be able to launch in the US. So you are going to be one of the guys who are going to help us like explain it to the American people that banks suck and they should be using Cresco.
Absolutely. I'm actually excited that now I'll be able to talk about it in the United States or to people in the United States. So that's super cool. Yeah, that I've already, you know, we've spoken about that. I can't wait to get the product in my hands.
Yeah.
I hate banks.
Yeah, and it's been, I know there's been a lot of talks, right? But you know, we're working very hard now, David and Jessica. You know, I'm the new CTO. We actually never met in person, but now digitally on live stream. But yeah, we have set up a whole in-house tech team now, and things are moving quicker than before. And yeah, I hope to have the institutional app is going to go live very soon. I'm not sure if we're going to share some screenshot of that in this AMA, but we have that is kind of like good to go. And the mobile app for retail is yeah, there's a lot of work with all the integrations with the banks, right? But we're working on that. So. But you know, like we came to a little bit of a motto in our company. We said less CFI, more DeFi. So that's a little bit of the direction that we're probably going to go. Yeah.
No, it's been awesome keeping up with the progress. And I love the community Telegram chat as well, because it really helps me to see what's going on and what updates you guys have. So Slavin's doing a great job in keeping everyone updated and interlinked, because it seems that you guys have constantly a lot of announcements and the community is growing, which is so nice to see.
Well, this whole idea, basically, Jessica and David, is to use like you, who are part of our Cresco family, plus the other, you know, great advisors we've got, plus Real Vision. But really, it's going to be our community that we're hoping will be evangelists for us. That we really hope will be like, we'll get the product in their hands, and whether they're, you know, whether you're in Uruguay or you're in Thailand or you're somewhere here in Europe, you'll be like out explaining it to people that they think like, you know, Cresco's like, you know, a better, you know, we're Damien Horner from Real Vision was on like one of our last AMAs, and he's come up with this idea of like positioning Cresco as the narrative is, you know, the bank alternative. And it's like built partly, you know, by the community for the community. And the real idea is that we help people make their money work harder for them. It's what will you do if you built a bank focused on like users, on savers. And so it's pretty cool. You know, it's like we're hoping to use our community as kind of evangelists to help us like sell the product. So we're hoping to use both of you two as well as like people to like, you know, you got to like stop people on the street, David, in New York, if you find somebody. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. Now, Twitter, you know, Twitter Spaces has come out, and like it's so much. Like I love Clubhouse. It started like, you know, during the pandemic, you can go onto Clubhouse and actually hear a voice instead of just texting and tweeting all the time. Twitter Spaces has been amazing because now you have like literally like we have like 1,000, 2,000 people in the chat, and you know people don't really know what DeFi is. So to explain it to them, telling people that you don't really have to just get rid of, or you know, people work so hard to accumulate, let's say Bitcoin, and then to just get rid of it for a Lamborghini. I'm like, you don't really have to do that. You can like borrow against it. You don't have to no longer be a part of the banking system. You can get out of it. Like, you can own your own money. And like you always say, like, banks suck. They really do, man. Like, they take your money, they make profit on it, but yet at the end of the month, I don't get a check. I get a maintenance fee charge. What's up with that? Like, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. And good, we'll go ahead and be a part of the narrative that changes that.
Well, we really want to work with people like you and Jessica who are really, passionate about explaining this new space to people, right? Because, it's, I was looking on like, on the essentially on the blockchain of the day through one of the analysis tools, and like there's 2.1 million Ethereum addresses that have interacted with DeFi protocols out of 59 million wallets that have a non-zero address. So that's a very small number of people who are even on Ethereum, let alone normal people, right? That you might meet on the street. So we're really hoping the two of you will help educate people about the benefits of this.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm sure David is the same, but I know, and I was mentioning to you guys slightly earlier, that this year I've had so many people message me about crypto. And I'm like, man, if you're just discovering crypto now, and in a few years you fully understand DeFi, this is going to change your life. I have girlfriends that know that I've been in crypto full time since 2017, and they're calling me now like, oh, what is this Dogecoin? And I'm like, okay, we're going to take a few steps back, sit down, we're going to have a chat. But I know that when people start to listen to the benefits of DeFi and they start to understand it and grasp it themselves, this is going to reshuffle everything. This is going to completely change how we were taught to save money, to get a mortgage and then spend 60 years paying off that mortgage. This is going to completely reshuffle the financial system as we know it. The potential is really huge. It's enormous.
I think if we just simplify the process, and that's the whole thing. When like new people try to onboard themselves into crypto or the crypto world, we talk to them in coding. Now we as a panel here, we can sit and like we can understand some of the things that are being said. Somebody new to the space has no clue what C++, Java, Python, like they don't understand these languages. And people start speaking to newcomers like Vitalik. At some point, you have to dumb it down in order to at least lay the ground floor out for people to understand, hey, this is something where you actually own your money. Like you can actually own your money. On Sundays, you can actually go buy a car and not wait until Monday to go ahead and do so.
I think that's absolutely right. My take on dumbing it down is saying banks suck. So we need people like you and Jessica who are like a little bit more eloquent. And, David, did you know that Jessica started her own YouTube channel?
I watch it. I'm a fan. Like,
oh, there you go. Good.
Thank you.
I'm a fan.
I've
always been a fan of Jessica.
I've always been a fan of David as well. And Robert, I was so glad that you actually finally got us together to do an interview, because we've been speaking for ages and we've always trying to pencil it in. And then Robert, you pulled it in with the Cresco family and made our first conversation happen.
Yeah, well, we're excited that you're both part of it. And it was really fun. One of the interviews we had, Jessica, where you told like a story is like, growing up in like Wales, your like grandmother would give you money into a bank account, and you actually, even though you don't look very old, you're old enough to remember that actually there was a time when banks would actually pay money on your grandmother's like whatever pounds that she had put in the bank account. And so that's the kind of story that, that's why Derek and I basically created Cresco, so that, people's money could work harder for them.
Yeah, it's actually a really vivid memory that I have. My great grandma passed away and we got 500 euros in our bank account. So we weren't allowed to take out the money, but we could take out like €5 a year, for example, and get like a CD. When albums were £5 back in the day, and you'd go and you'd spend ages deciding what album you wanted to get. And I remember really vividly being like, well, you can have the money that you have off it. And it was, oh, this was really cool. I remember it was a store called W.H. Smith. You might see it when you fly in airports. It's like a magazine and CD store at the time. And now it just seems really strange that in some countries in Europe, you have to pay to have your money in a bank account. It just seems like madness to me.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like here in Switzerland, for the pleasure of, having banks that you don't like very much, you've got to pay for it, right? And Amedeo, you were talking to somebody in Denmark, I think, the other day. That was like what is it in Denmark now?
So in Denmark and now also the Netherlands are raising it as well. I'm from Amsterdam, and it's like if you have more than 100K, it's 0.5%. And in Denmark, is if you have more than 11,000, it's 0.5%. It's everything is setting up. It's very nicely, and it's a word I said in private to Robert, and he really likes it. It's like, you know, when we give very much higher yields, we will be able to do an actual vampire attack, similar that SushiSwap did to Uniswap, to the, you know, traditional financial world, because, you know, we're just offer higher yields. We prefer incentives to just, you know, like move to a higher yield place with your capital. And I think that is why would you not do that then? And I think with the Crestcoin app, it will make it so easy to just navigate yourself through it. So it's going to be.
So that's Amadeo's inspiration. He's upped my bank suck to a vampire attack on traditional banking. Hopefully the regulator isn't watching the live stream. So
I'm expecting this to be fluid in the branding of the future app. I'm expecting there to be some vampires on screen and some Halloween-inspired banking dress-ups.
What we're super excited about, and like David, hopefully you can start explaining this to the American public, is you'll be able to go pretty seamlessly from your fiat account, like from your fiat wallets, and we're going to offer 34 different currencies in our fiat wallets. You'll be able to go. We're working on this merger bridge idea where you can go pretty seamlessly from there into DeFi and then back again. So it's not simply that you move money, you know, through Cresco into, you know, into DeFi or into crypto, but actually you can get real bank accounts or real fiat wallets through Cresco. So we're expecting you, David, to be an evangelist for us in the US.
Yeah, like I'm going to make sure that like everybody hears me from the rooftops. They will. I'll find a way.
I know we've told everybody, we've told all of our amazing advisors not to like, you know, not to like really be promoting WCRES that much, you know, from you, the crypto dog, like people who have like so many followers, like hundreds. How many followers do you have now?
I think it's up in the, I have no, 300 and plus, something like that. I don't know. I know my engagement's very high, and I sit back and I don't want to say the wrong things just because, you know, I know no matter what I say, not financial advice and whatnot, somebody's just going to, regardless, take, you know, my personal opinions and use it as theirs. And, you know, you got to be careful with that on social media. But I mean, this is a totally different message. Like, I want to see people get out of this fiat system and integrate themselves into crypto and stay in crypto. That's the problem that we have. We have a problem where, you know, people get into crypto and then they cash out in fiat. So we're not really moving. We're in quicksand, and we need to educate people. The only way we get to adoption is by staying in crypto. You don't leave it. You don't. I get it. You still have to pay your mortgage and rent with fiat because, you know, obviously, you know, you're not going to call Wells Fargo or whoever your mortgage is with and say, hey, I'm going to pay you in Bitcoin today. They're going to say absolutely not. But, you know, you could have 90% of your assets in crypto and 10 for the rest of the world that still accepts, you know, that dollar that's 3 cents. And yes, I said that, and you can use that against me.
That's great. No, it's so true. Of course, it depends what country you're in, you know, David, because, you know, if you're going to move somewhere, you might consider Switzerland because, you know, here there's actually a nice Thai restaurant out back here in the old town where you can pay in ETH, right? It's pretty amazing. And like even a conversation I had with the regulator the other day, he referenced Link. I think he's like, I think he might be a Link Marine. So it's pretty funny.
I love Chainlink. That protocol is special. There's nobody that comes close to that Oracle. Not nobody.
Yeah, that's great. And you know, of course, that like Chainlink is one of our partners that we're using for our is the partner we have for oracles. So, what's the best way to get the message out? Like, I mean, besides following both of you on social media, what are other mediums to do it? Like, you talked about Clubhouse, and I thought, because I'm like, I thought I'm like a little bit older. I'm like, oh, I'm never going to get accepted at Clubhouse because they have this wait list thing. But then Elsa here is like, Elsa got me in. But what other ways should we be getting this message out to people?
I feel like this is the Brady Bunch entrance, and like Elsa's here, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, she is.
I think, like, honestly, I really think Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces has really opened up a different avenue in terms of social media and communications. But obviously, it's grassroots. I mean, we have to hit the merchants because the merchants don't know about crypto yet, or they're not well educated in it. Imagine you go to a merchant and tell them, we could take away your chargeback fee, and we could eliminate your merchant fee, and now you can deal directly with me. Like, we don't have to have a intermediate. We don't have to have that middleman. We could just, and now if once I give you your money, like, I can't call up anybody and say, well, I want my money back. Now potentially a merchant saves $20,000 to $25,000 a month just on those fees alone. So it's more of the grassroots, just going out there and just having a loud voice and saying, hey, like, just give me a chance. Let me show you that. It's kind of like selling vacuum cleaners, I guess. I don't know.
Well, this is what you're going to do for us. Come on. And then, okay, Jessica, what else? What's the best? How do we get to people? How do we get this message out there? Besides following you on YouTube and, David on Twitter, I mean, what else?
I think there's definitely a route to go down, which is partnering with people that aren't in crypto when it comes to pushing content out there. So if you have an option to go on, and I really have started looking into these financial advisor guys on TikTok that will tell you how that you can have multiple streams of income and how that's really important to try and secure in your 20s. And they'll talk about these things that are non-crypto related. And I think if you try and explain to these guys why crypto is cool and why crypto gives you multiple streams of income, but then you can yield it and you can an extra APY on that money so your money can start to work for you. That is suddenly a huge game changer. So as soon as you break it down for not crypto influencers, but the other kind of influencers out there, even lifestyle influencers, people that work for e-commerce sites, so you can say, okay, you like to buy designer clothes, why don't you spend it with this money and you can earn cash back? There are so many different avenues to go down that really is going to change the game completely. And I think 2021, the huge surge in market cap and more money added to crypto, we've started to see this transition. We've got like US music artists like Paris Hilton's now on crypto Twitter. I think we're getting somewhere. We're like just scratching the surface though. The next 2 years is going to pop up.
That's so great. You've upped it from David and Elsa's Clubhouse to actually TikTok. What do you think? But how are we going to TikTok? Do you think we can have Derek and Monty on TikTok and like get like millions and millions of views?
Monty on TikTok as a crypto dog with crypto dog. Insane.
Oh, it could be big.
That could be huge.
Can we see Derek do the renegade? That would really be
Derek, you're on mute. Where's Monty? Is Monty around?
Yeah, Monty's sleeping under the desk. So.
Oh, super cool.
He's exhausted from all that DeFi talk. All those TikTok.
That's great.
TikTok's
but
big. TikTok's really bringing a lot of people into the crypto space. You got these 16-year-olds just going on there giving financial advice. It's great to watch.
Yeah, I have to honestly say that. Oh, sorry, Robbie, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say at the age of 16, I really was not thinking about my financial future at all. All the money I had, I would spend on like clothes and I really wasn't thinking about it. So to have kids that are aware about their future and they want to save or make more money is even that's a huge positive. That's changed in the last kind of 15 years.
I got my first cell phone when I was 17. Like I didn't have, and it had no, like nothing. It was a prepaid cell phone. Like I thought it was cool. I wasted all the minutes and literally within 5 minutes, all the minutes were gone. I had to go get a new prepaid card. These kids don't understand, man. But it's cool because they're the future. If we can educate the kids to go ahead and educate, forget about it. We're paving the road and we're building the highway for them. All they got to do is drive on it.
Yeah.
And just let everybody know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I really agree. So at Cresco, we're really, it's obviously like, it's it's like Derek and I, or maybe just me. It's kind of like, boring, like very Swiss, very stable. Nobody's like, nobody's aping into anything here, right? There's no like, we're not yield farming yams, but we're really trying to bring like, essentially the power of DeFi to like traditional finance. And, but we have to get this out in a non-traditional way. Like we're now brainstorming a lot about marketing. We're spending a lot of time with Damien Horner from Real Vision, refining basically the brand narrative. Slavian is working like day and night thinking about how we do this marketing. It's why we have like, young people like, Felix and Elsa. And we're also thinking of like which countries to like launch in, because like, Felix has done a lot of work looking at like South America and adoption, and like, I've had like so many DMs from, people from Turkey, for example, which is like, oh my gosh, like you don't need to pay me any yield on your bank account. I'd just be happy to have like, a digital bank account somewhere like Switzerland where it's regulated, it's all insured. So we're really trying to think of like non-traditional ways to get the message out. Do you know what I mean? Like not the old fashioned like billboard, TV advertising. So I love that. So we could like Clubhouse and Clubhouse and like TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. And getting like people that are on there are not from crypto, and then just explaining to them in layman's terms, people that are influencers in their own right, is I think a huge way to get a kind of multiple ripple effect of communications out there too.
Yeah. What do you think, David? Like it has to be a guerrilla marketing campaign, don't you think?
It has to be. Absolutely. Like that's really the way now. It's just TikTok. Like everybody makes, you think of TikTok and you right away, like I was just, playing around with Derek. I'm not actually, I really like to see him do the Renegade, but you do that is a huge platform. Like people do tune in. Yeah. They first initially go on there to watch, what's hot in the world. But then like people do go into, I guess, the investment side of TikTok. I watch it. Like there's a bunch of, again, like I said, there's a bunch of young kids that are just talking about cryptocurrency. Whether the knowledge is there or not, that's a different story. I think we can go ahead and help bridge that gap to help people better understand what cryptocurrency is. But that's a big avenue. And again, Spaces and Clubhouse, it is effective. There's new people daily coming in and asking these questions. How do I really unbank myself? We had that conversation like literally a week ago. I was in the room where we talked about that. And it's cool to like just sit around with a bunch of people and talk about the subject.
Yeah, that could be amazing. Well, Jessica, like, are you going to be up for a TikTok video with some of us, the broader like Cresco family?
You know what? I would love to, and I thought you would never ask, Robert.
Oh, that's great. Is it your first I haven't searched for you on TikTok, but it would be your first TikTok, or have you like?
I do TikTok for Bitpanda Exchange, which is an exchange based out of Vienna. So I do some TikToks for them. And I did one a few days ago about the Bitcoin Lamborghini I told you about in Dubai. And I think in the first 24 hours, it got like 33,000 views. Everyone was just like so surprised at the crypto scene in Dubai and what's going on. So yeah, I think TikTok is a great way for people to spread the message. It's short, it's digestible information. I think it's the future way to absorb and to people to just dip their toes in. Cresco, honestly, you're not going to need to market a lot. You're just going to need to start talking, and then it'll naturally spread itself. It's like someone said in the comments that I saw that David hasn't tweeted about our Crest yet, and you can just imagine what will happen when he does. And it's true, you guys haven't needed to market, and it's already been so well received by the community.
Yeah, thank you. We've done the reverse, actually. We've told all of our advisors and family members not to be like tweeting about it so much, because we're, it's like we're particularly waiting for like our product, and we don't want to, we want to be a bit different, right? So, but now, as we've got our product, we want to really do this kind of aggressive guerrilla marketing campaign, this vampire attack on banks that Amadeo is designing. So it's going to be worth the wait.
Yeah. I was in Dubai as well, and I liked it. It's pretty cool, but I'm not sure if that's the ethos of crypto, to be honest. Like I like it in one way, but the other way, I think like, well, saying, oh, we're gonna debank the world, and then sitting on a speedboat in Dubai. I'm not sure if that, that really connects with me. But still, it's pretty cool that a lot of people got super rich with it. But I think we still have a lot of work to do, right? And that's why I joined Crescofin. And I think we can really make a difference by merging DeFi and CeFi, and making it not work for the banks, but work for the people. When you cut out the middleman, the power, instead of floating to the central point of power, will float to the edges where everybody can participate of the value of the network that it's generating. That's my view of it. But there's a lot of work to do, and I think I also see some very dangerous things happening, especially in conferences like in Dubai. I also see a lot of people that are not delivering that ethos, but there's also a lot of very good people there as well. So I think it's a very interesting landscape right now, and I hope that we can do something good for the world.
We have some good user stories as well, because like 10% of profits to charity, it actually makes a difference, right? So you can, it's going to benefit the world at very least in that way. So look, David and Jessica, having the two of you on as like real celebrities to join us, we really appreciate. So why don't we'll let the two of you go, and we have to answer some questions from the community. The first one's already been really tough, so why don't we let the two of you go? Maybe you could tell people like just quickly how people can find you.
Yeah, sure. David, do you want to go first?
Just hear the really loud noises that come off. No, I'm kidding. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram. It's just my first and last name. If you can spell out my last name, I still have a hard time doing that. I'm always on there yapping away. But I'm finally glad that I'll be able to talk about Crescofin, because Robert has finally given me the green light. So I've been waiting. It's not like I didn't want to talk about Crescofin. Trust me, I did. I just was waiting patiently, sitting back until I got that green light. So I'm ready, and I will let the world know about it. Trust me, because I really do despise banks. Robert puts it lightly. I despise them. So that's basically it.
We'll edit that part out, Slavian, for the regulator. And and also
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just joking. I get the same thing. we need people like you.
And Amadeus said it perfectly as well. There is like still maybe 60% bad actors in this space. The same with the internet when it first came out. It's like with so many new technologies, unfortunately, a majority are people that are there to benefit themselves, not the industry. But I've always believed in Cresco, and I'm so excited to see how it goes. And I think the next few months is going to be so exciting to watch it grow and help drive engagement on a global scale.
Amazing. Well, thanks very much for the two of you for taking the time to join. We appreciate it, from morning in New York to evening in Dubai. It's very kind. Cresco family appreciates you being here, and we will let you go. So thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us,
guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Good to see you. We'll work on my renegade.
Thank you, David and Jessica.
Yeah, I'm going. I have to figure out how to go.
Okay, let's see. 3, 2, 1, magic. Poof. All right. Seems to have done the trick. So all alone now with our questions, our community, and our thoughts. How about we move to number 2? Okay, Derek, here's one for you. What news from the front line, from the institutional front line? Are we getting more depositors?
Yeah, well, the institutional app is, we've been moving it around thanks to Amadeo and his team. We've got a working model internally, and we're about to move it in production. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll move the existing clients one by one into it to make sure it's functioning, and then any new clients will start to roll into that. So this is kind of what we've been waiting for, to go back out to institutions and mass market. So we're ready to go now.
Amazing. Okay. So what about the perks? I mean, everybody's thinking of the perks, and we like to take care of our community, especially the early birds. Have we decided on the holder or early investor perks for the accounts? What do you think? What do you think, Robert?
I answered the first one that was really hard. Why don't we have like a why do we have a filter for this? Like, okay,
We should play Russian roulette with these questions.
Well,
we're definitely working on some
yes.
some swag and stuff like that for people. It's kind of one of those things that when people have time, they look at it. But we have our NFT for our LPs as well, don't we, Simon?
That is correct. But we're also working on some surprises for our lead birds. I mean, they're the ones who brought us where we are now. And I do have a couple of tricks up my sleeve, but it's not for this AMA. I'll be sharing it with you guys next AMA.
But the short answer is 100%. Yeah, we definitely have perks for people. We really appreciate like our community. Like it's not just a marketing thing. Like our community needs to help us sell this. I mean, we can only do so much. There's only a few of us. We when we launched this, like we were really hoping that we would have people like you who've joined us, and like that needs to be rewarded. So there'll be like some fees for different parts of the accounts, whether it's like tiered pricing for cards, or there's a few other things that because it's not a charity, it needs to make some money. And what we're a lot of it and what we're thinking of is like our look, our community, our WCRES shareholders are really precious for us. So you guys are really special. I mean, we want there'll be a lot. The short answer is there'll be a number of perks. There's some pretty cool stuff coming that you're gonna like. I mean, we want people to be proud about like holding WCRES. So
marvelous. Okay, so question number 4, and I think this is a great question for you, Amadeo, for Robert, for Derek, to get into a conversation. How do you see the partnership between Cresco Fin and the Aave ecosystems work out over the course of this year? What kind of surprises are we going to see until the end of the year with our friends at Aave?
Yeah, so I can answer. So basically, I said also in the previous AMA, right? So we were looking at different DeFi products to construct and have available via the retail app. And what we see now is that we can make a product with DeFi Saver combined with Aave. And that's something that we're actively researching and seeing if we maybe need to clone a DeFi Saver contracts or build contracts ourselves. So that's what we're looking into right now, and that will be released together with the app. And as I said before, I mean the retail app, it's a really big task. And when that goes live, we will also get more products. But on the institutional side, if that web app goes live, we can also already have discussions to have maybe some more institutional inflow for Aave or not. And it's ongoing discussions. So stay tuned.
Perfect. Okay. So on the topic of Aave, what do you think about a rewards program that rewards in WCRES or Aave or something similar to their V2 bonus rewards? Like, for example, here's an example here. We lend Cruised, or someone lends Cruised, earns Aave, maybe Matic, which is something that's gaining a lot of popularity, this layer 2 solution. Is this feasible?
Well, I would say that depends on the community, right? So like if any of our products either are other coins or related products go live, then it's up to the community to accept it. And once that goes live, we will put a governance proposal up. Similar, there's a question 9 also about Bancor that I will also directly answer in this question. So we're working on a Bancor proposal actually together with a research that I will be releasing, similar to what I released on Uniswap V3 on my YouTube channel. I will also release some research that we will do with on Bancor, on the AMM models. Bancor was the first AMM model. And then we're going to go live there with hopefully with the wrapped CRES token. Similar with Aave, it's all DAO, so we don't really have influence on that, right? So what we have to do, we have to release the products, and then the DAOs have to decide what's going to happen. So if you're an Aave holder, or if you participate in the Aave community, once the proposal goes live, please, we will of course share those links, and then you can share your thoughts and feedback, and that will help with adoption and more potential fee delegation to the products.
Okay, wonderful. That is great to hear. How about we move on to something that's been on the community's mind for quite some time, like weeks, ever since they heard it, really, and it's Merkle Tree. Will Crescofin remain a majority stakeholder of this new company in the future, or will it be like a DAO? What's it going to be, Dirk?
Well, we don't know the long-term plan as of yet. Out of the gate, the Crescofin insurance vehicle, whatever it was, and now it's become Merkle Tree. It's always been this mechanism for us to shorten the waiting period, the cooling off, should we have some insurable event through our invoice factoring program. And the meetings that we've had with the regulator have been very encouraging as we look to move into any kind of digital asset space. And Bermuda is quite pro crypto. They call the premier, he's known as Bitcoin down on the island. That's how they refer to him. So, we're really excited. It's designed to be a Crescofin vehicle, and it started as a captive, but now is more looking like a commercial insurance vehicle so that we can offer it to third parties as well. But we don't know what it's going to hold because we don't know how much capital we need and how that comes in. So it's in Merkle Tree's in the very early stages. And we told the community about it because we wanted to keep them informed. And it, in the end, it just makes the Crescofin product a little bit better.
Okay, perfect. How about we approach it from another angle? What do you reckon? At what pace will Merkle Tree scale to even replace potentially Lloyd's Insurance? It won't be able to insure billions. That's true. Right off the bat.
Not on day one.
Yeah, but
day one it might be a little bit less. But as I said, it's interesting there because it doesn't actually replace some of the Lloyd's cover. We still go into the Lloyd's market. For insurance policies into Merkle Tree and reinsurance policies. It's very much, it is this vehicle that lets us optimize the insurance for Crescofin. So we think that in year one, we'll be into the 9-figure range of what we'll be able to insure for Crescofin. And Crescofin is the first priority for Merkle Tree.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so a couple of thoughts on the numbers as well already. That's great. How about question number 8? Somebody has sniffed around and found the website for Merkle Tree, but it's just a landing page. What are we going to add to that page?
Right now, it is just a landing page. We wanted to acquire the domain so we had it and put something up. It's a very basic page. So what we are focused on right now is the regulatory application and getting everything in place. We may come up with a few better ideas on logos and a little bit more content over the next few weeks, but don't expect anything of substance until we actually have the regulatory application through. Okay, I see. So how about question number 9? And it's the last one about Merkle Tree, I promise. So if there's ever a Merkle airdrop, would all go to WCRES holders? Does the wallet matter? Do guys or people get some benefits out of it? What's it going to look like? Yeah, it's still in the conceptual phase of how we do this. But from the beginning, the plan was to have an insurance vehicle, and we made it clear that the WCRES holders would get a direct benefit in the insurance vehicle. So it would just be a pro rata, whether it's an airdrop or a faucet, to distribute it. I don't know if you can airdrop to a Ledger wallet or not, but if anybody is holding it there. And the geyser is an interesting question because we hadn't thought about that. Like I said, this is early days for us. We just wanted to make sure people know that this is going to happen in some form. So, but I think we have transparency on the wallets that have gone into geyser as well. So it's a little bit of work for us to connect those dots, but it's nothing that's insurmountable. Mm-hmm. Okay. And now that we're out of the woods with Merkle Tree, how's the Shri application moving along? Could we launch it sooner than expected? Yeah, Ramadan has been the fun one, and I will admit I've been more focused on the on Merkle Tree than the Sharia product. But now that Ramadan is over, we're getting a lot more responsiveness out of the team in the Middle East. So no major update on that today.
Okay. All right. So that's question number 10. Let's go to question number 11. What's the progress since the last 2 weeks on the app? And how close are we to an alpha or beta testing? What do you think, Amadeo?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, so at the last AMA 2 weeks ago, I told about a public roadmap. We're working on that. It's actually done, but it's still under review. And there you see all our phases and progress. Since we're dealing here with a lot of very complex integrations and setups, but also from a security point of view, from a crypto security, but for the DeFi wallet, but also security, of course, for the fiat side. And the integration, the timeline is not sure, but yeah, we're working on it as fast as possible. And when the new public roadmap is released, you will see all the features that are planned, and also some new features. But what I can say, what is going live, hopefully before next AMA, is the institutional web app. So that will be a web app for institutions to log in, and an easier way for them to sign up as well.
Wonderful. And it's like surgery, right? Every 2 or 3 minutes, someone knocks on the door. How's it going, doctor? How's it going? And you're like full on, completely focused on this product. And once again,
yeah. And there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of circles, and we want to make sure that we make the right decisions. And it's very hard to focus in crypto. It's very hard to stay focused on some things. There's a lot of moving parts. So for us, we really want to work on the mobile app, but also the low-hanging fruits. So that means a web app and things like that will come live. I actually have a meeting with our UX UI designer this weekend, and yeah, maybe we can release some of our UX plans a little bit sooner as well, for some this community feedback. But yeah, let's discuss that later.
You mean you're meeting with Alexei there in Kiev, where you are? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually going for a bike ride with Alexei. I can send some photos of it. We're going for a bike ride here in Kiev, and after that we're going to sit down and go over all this work that he's doing. We're having daily stand-ups now, so every morning we have a UX UI stand-up which is Slavion mostly leading, and we have a tech and development stand-up where we go over everything. But meeting in person is just so much faster. So now I'm still here in Kiev. I'm going to do an in-person meeting where we, go over everything. We had an in-person meeting with Robert where we had huge progress. So yeah, that will be updated soon. And I think it will be cool to share that on the forum probably, where we're going to ask for some more feedback.
It was funny to be in Kiev. It was the meeting we had. Amadeo was in this crazy old Soviet building, had huge monuments of hammer and sickles, and inside this kind of cool carved out workspace was everybody doing crypto. It was funny. It was great to get together with you and Alexei there.
Yeah, it was amazing, and it was so much more technical. I actually liked it much more than Dubai. Dubai is I call it the circle jerk. Everybody is just trying to sell everything to each other.
Slavion, something else to cut out, please. I'm just joking. Yeah, Kiev was hardcore tech. It was we met some pretty fascinating tech people. So I don't know if the community knows, but our advisors, we haven't been using them to promote Cresco very much. We're we're really trying to be the kind of company that develops revolutionary products, because everything needs to be judged on what we deliver as our software. But behind the scenes, our advisors and our amazing family has been really helpful. Stani, for example, is the reason why we have Amadeo. So Stani brought Amadeo and Cresco together. So we're really indebted to somebody like Stani for bringing a superstar developer to us as like a, you know, in recommending Cresco. And yeah, and that's the kind of the backstory about how Amadeo's here. And then he actually bought into WCRES. And I guess officially you're somebody else that's come from the community to, you know, to kind of a team insider. So
yeah, indeed. And I think that's the most thing that we would love to do, right? Like, you know, we want to, Rob, Derek, and myself, and everybody, we want to decentralize our stress. We want to decentralize our decision making with all the decisions that we need to make. So, you know, that it would be much easier if we can just have no more management meeting, but just snapshot voting and, you know, like all that stuff. So I come from that side of the world. So I'm a developer. I love DAOs. I love that kind of style of working. And I love to merge it back with my older, like more corporate style of working and see how we can merge the two worlds. And I think it's super interesting. I'm learning a lot and I'm building a lot. Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Yeah, Amadeo and the team are going to replace me with a smart contract. It's I think it can only be done in like a few lines of code. not very smart. So we're looking to do ourselves out of a job and exit to the community. So. Okay, Slavian, do we have a last question? Or
we do. It's question number 12.
Yeah.
What about Bancor, Amadeo?
Yeah, so it was on our management meeting last week, and we're going to prepare a little bit of a research on Bancor because, you know, after what happened with Dodo and other ones, we really want to be sure that the AMAs that we use are correct. I also saw some, you know, questions about centralized exchanges. Yeah, I know there were some centralized exchanges contacting us, but maybe we're too underground or too, I don't know, like we're not really busy with that kind of side of things yet. But yeah, I hope when, you know, the tech team is more fired up and if Derek has some more time, if he's not too busy with Merkle Tree insurance, he can maybe also focus a little bit on that. So that would be super interesting to see if we can get some more centralized exchange listing. But I think it would be best to list on communities like Bancor, or eventually, you know, like if we have enough volume to also go to Aave, or, you know, if we or to go to maybe 1inch or other ones. Yeah, and probably to do that correctly, we probably need to build some of our own hunting bots, and Derek needs to use some of his old, you know, Forex skills to deploy this in a robot. We can make a robot for Derek so that he doesn't have to do any market making. We just put some robots live, and then all the DEXs will be balanced out. So yeah, a lot of work to do there still, but I think Bancor is probably a really good first step because you can get to single site liquidity funding, and I think it's probably the best step. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in Bancor and, you know, and just increasing Uniswap right now, that with this, you know, the migration to V3, we've got another month for the liquidity tokens unlocked. I put something on the forum the other day. I think, you know, the answer is simple unless somebody has a magic solution, but we locked the liquidity tokens on V2, you know, just to give everybody a warm fuzzy feeling, to make sure that we weren't going to do a rug pull. But you know, as when they come unlocked, we'll look at the migration, which then we can look at the second geyser pool as well. And so more liquidity on Uniswap is always the best thing for everyone right now, because it just removes any or minimizes the arbitrage that you do see a sandwich bot going in and out there a few times with the bigger trades. But, you know, if people set, you know, low slippage tolerances there, then that should take care of that to some extent. But yeah, it's we're always looking at it at different ways. But in the end, everybody's just focused right now on delivering our products so that we can get to market.
Okay, and that's all. Those are all the questions we have from social media. Let's now look.
Maybe before just to follow up on like our discussion with like Jessica and David, and, you know, we might have some other celebrity guests coming up at future AMAs. But, you know, the reason why Cresco is like intended intentionally to be quite diverse is we have like, you know, we have lots of young people working for us as well, including like Elsa and Felix. So what are your views? How do the two of you think we're going to get like Cresco's message out there? Do you want to start, Elsa, and like talk about social media and talk about geographies as well? One of the two of you.
Well, apparently he's not deciding himself, even though he said he would. But I don't know, we just approached it as simple as we could. We wanted to be as close as we could also to the community, and we tried to be as transparent as possible and to just do things differently as we would expect it from a fintech startup.
Okay, but how do young people want to get this information?
Through social media, because they're everywhere nowadays. Mainly on TikTok, which is probably the only social media we're not on yet, I guess. But then again, I think we're going to have Derek and Robert do the renegade.
That's great. And what about, on peut passer en français, Elsa. Comment est-ce qu'on va effectivement faire le marketing au français? Qu'est-ce que tu veux voir?
Je pense, et on me l'a demandé plusieurs fois dans les conversations privées, etc., qu'on fasse plus de documents et de matériel en français. Parce que même si on en a traduit certains, apparemment, c'était pas correctement traduit ou pas tout le temps et c'était encore trop difficile à comprendre pour certains. Du coup, je pense qu'il faudrait, en premier lieu, commencer à faire plus de matériel en français.
Et pour les réseaux sociaux, c'est effectivement la même chose en France. On peut utiliser TikTok, Clubhouse, ça existe, ou d'autres moyens, je crois.
Je pense que c'est exactement la même chose, peu importe le pays dans lequel on se trouve. Maintenant, j'ai l'impression que c'est très peu de jeunes qui sont intéressés par la crypto en France. Et si c'est le cas, ils ne sont pas sur les réseaux sur lesquels on s'attendrait le plus. La plupart d'entre eux vont être des anons sur Twitter, et faut les trouver. Il faut savoir qu'ils existent et dans quelle démographie ils font partie.
Ah oui, c'est le monde d'aujourd'hui, effectivement. C'est global, effectivement. Okay, Felix, what do you think? How are we going to get the story out?
I wish you hadn't asked me that question. Well, I've been working on pretty hard with Slavian and a few others, and also some of like the great people in our community, about how, if I stopped someone down the street and went, how can I describe Cresco in a minute? What's the best way to do it? A funny idea came along a couple of weeks ago with the idea of what we consider fiat currencies. Most times when you buy into a bank in Euro, USD, and other sort of currencies, most people just say fiat, but don't really understand what it means because it's Latin. So I've been playing around with it, and we came up with fiat meaning fully insured asset tether, and backing it to, for example, our stablecoin and a few other projects, and separating those four letters and really going into it. So if someone goes, what's a fully insured asset tether? Well, it's Cresco. We're fully 100% insured. We back your assets. We're transparent, and you could put it into a nice little marketing thing. Further on the community engagement thing, me and Slavian have been working pretty hard on a treasure chest event to get the community involved at some aspect. And also, just relative to other countries, I've been working hard on partnerships in Latin America and also in Europe, and getting in contact with people who can really help us. So there are plenty of things kind of going on under the rug, but we can't let you know everything at this point.
But it's certainly the markets we've been looking at, because I know that you and Slavian have been doing a lot of work thinking about Latin America, and we have quite a few like Spanish speakers in the team. You've spent some time in Portugal, Slavian as well. I mean, are these key? How are we going to get into these key markets, Latin America? How are we going to do it?
There's a huge demand for the fintech space, specifically in Latin America, majoritarily in Mexico and Brazil and a few other places. I've been in contact with some contacts of mine, social media influencers, big telemedia and communication companies who are very interested in the product, and also, also investors, and also people who are very affluent in their respective spaces in fintech in Latin America, because it's a space that's growing. Also, the whole digital bank thing doesn't work incredibly well for everyone, and I think the solution that we're going to provide is really going to change the game. So a lot of people want to get involved. There have been plenty of people before. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know about Latin America, but there are plenty of digital banks and similars that have launched, but not really that have really mixed TradeFi and DeFi. So I'd be happy to share information with anyone who wants to know a bit more in depth, but I think if we go too much into it about specific competitors and how we do it, I think thanks to Elsa, Christina, and the girls at Cresco with the strong social media launch with Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and really focusing on different demographics and in countries such as the EEA region, Latin America, and eventually the US and different countries in Asia that Robert really wants to take over, we'll be able to get the word out pretty quickly.
Yeah, just to be clear, it's not just those countries that I want to take over.
No, I know.
It's the whole world. And we have to leave TikTok as well to Derek and Jessica. So what about you, Felix? Or what about you, Slavian? You've heard what Felix had to say about LATAM, but you speak Portuguese fluently. Your wife is from Brazil. How are we going to get into Brazil?
Well, getting into Brazil means getting into people's heads and minds, and the mentality in Latin America is a bit different from what you'd expect in Europe or something. It's very visual, but it's also very about connections, and those connections are built on trust, obviously. So we're going to go to the points of trust, to the channels, to the personalities, to the influencers that really, really, really touch on people's lives. For example, I can give you the example of Natalia Arcuri. She's, I think, if not the biggest, one of the biggest, at least in the very top 3 of South American financial influencers. And it's just about for normal people, for people of all walks of life, to learn more about finances. But the reason she's got such a huge audience, and it's turned into basically what it is, like soap operas, really changing people's lives, picking people out of all walks of life and changing their lives financially, and turning that into episodes, into series of things. That's what makes that market so different than, because you wouldn't expect, I mean, to go in Switzerland, to go out on the street and ask someone, hey, do you have some problems financially? Can I help you? Can I give you some tips? It's just that barrier of trust, it's much, much thinner in Latin America. But on the other hand, you have to create that trust. And that trust's only built with the people that have already done the hard work, the grunt work for us, and obviously then with our own initiatives that have to coincide with what the people there want. Another great example, which was an amazing introduction by Felix, is someone called Sami Dena, a man who collects academic titles in economics. I mean, that guy just a machine. And he's extremely well connected in media, in the media of, for example, like Jovem Pan. I don't know if anybody listening to us right now know that publication, but it's really amazing. And it just goes to show that if we have the right people, and we go to the right people, and we convince them first, convincing the rest of the people that they to whom they listen to will be much easier. But then comes, for example, questions about regulation, and that's something that we need to pay attention to. For example, Facebook has had, in the matter of payments, they've had some hardships, some difficulties. So if you combine like a pretty strict and closed mentality towards the outside with the regulatory approach within, some sort of challenges can arise for us.
Well, I think the solution, whatever it is, whatever country it is, or whatever medium we're using, it's essentially to use our community. It's to use our community of shareholders, and it's to use the WCRES investors. It's like, it's really to show that this is being built essentially, by our community, for people who have a similar mindset and want their money to work harder for them. So, okay, Slavian, what's next?
Next comes the dessert, so to say. We're going to read out questions that we've been getting here through the chat. So let's scroll up and make sure we don't miss anybody. Let's find a couple of interesting ones. All right, so let's do a quick recap. What would you say about this? About the app being launched in the US or EU or Middle East first? I mean, we've given the community like couple of indications of what would happen, but then they listened and they thought, okay, someone dropped US in here, so that got my attention. What can you say about the US and the app releasing there?
Well, the idea is set out in our IM. So you can see our global rollout plan is set out in the info memo. It starts here with the EEA, which is basically Europe plus the United Kingdom plus Switzerland. And then we have a few other places that we're targeting: Eastern Europe, Latin America. But the plan is definitely global. You know, we don't have like a bank-centered approach. We have a tech-centered approach. So if you're a bank, you go territory by territory, you get a license, you get approved, and you know, our approach is very much like a tech company. We're here in Switzerland, people come to us. It always raises legal questions about marketing, how we advertise. So this is one of the reasons why we're using, you know, our community, and why we're using other people, not just Cresco, to put up like a, you know, whatever, a Cresco poster in some, like, you know, metro, subway, somewhere. So, you know, we're going to do a phased rollout. Amadeo has a great plan, I think, to like slowly roll it out from a tech perspective to make sure it's not, you know, that our systems are not overwhelmed. And we're going to really start with, like, you know, we're starting with our testers, and then we're starting with the community, and then maybe people that the community recommend. It's going to be a little bit like the Clubhouse thing, where you kind of have to be invited to do it. It was like Elsa's idea, or she initially like had told me about how to get into Clubhouse. So it's a slow, measured rollout. And in terms of geographies, yeah, we're starting first here in Europe, but we're going to be selectively taking people from all over the world, even in the earliest phases. So.
Question for you, Amadeo. What's your opinion on minor acceptable value?
Yeah, I saw this opinion coming from John and Doughboy. Very interesting that they bring it up in this. You know, it's of course not yet really related to anything that has to do with Crescofin, but I think it's actually maximum extractable value. Maximum extractable value is look at that. He also wants some attention, the dog. That's really nice.
Tu dois contrôler le monstre.
But maximum extractive value is not something only for Bitcoin or blockchain or Ethereum or any blockchain. It's you will also see that at Polygon or Binance Smart Chain happening right now, and it's something we see everywhere. So maximum extractable value, the best way to understand it is basically to say what is the maximum extractable value that the corrupt banking cartel now takes from his powerful position. That's also maximum extractable value. Same thing, like, okay, if you're a miner in Ethereum, you can extract a certain amount of value if you create a block. So if you randomly are selected in the chain of miners to create a block, you have all the power, and you can order transactions, and you can make a lot of money with that, with injecting flash loans and other stuff. Yeah, it's a very diverse topic, and I think it's the biggest danger to cryptographic systems that are now out there. But it can also be the biggest advantage if we actually solve this, because, you know, maximum extractable value in the financial system, nobody really thinks about that. Like, what is the maximum extractable value by this and this middleman in his powerful position compared with this? You know, it's just something you just don't think about when you're opening a saving account or when you're interacting with a bank. And now we're thinking about these kind of very complex game theoretical concepts as a community, and that's now only here this community, but also the whole Ethereum community as a whole. And I think we can make it into a positive thing. And if we do solve this problem, yeah, I mean, we're so much more stronger than banks, but it is the hardest problem right now in Ethereum and crypto. But I'm optimistic that we can solve it, and yeah, I hope to one day maybe have MEV bots, or have like with Crescofin that maybe institutional money can say we that they also want a part of that maximum extractable value. But it's a very difficult topic, and I can talk a whole hour about that. But basically, I think it's a very dangerous thing now. Of course, we don't want all the value to be sucked out by the miners or by some bad actors that are just reorging all the blocks or doing it's called like you can roll back a whole process in blocks, and that is, I forgot the name of that exact issue, but if that happens, then basically the whole Ethereum can fail and the whole DeFi will be destroyed. But the chance of that is small, and that we're all thinking about that is something super fascinating and interesting. In order to get a better understanding of this, but I think Boy knows where to look for. You can go to Flashboys, and they have a dashboard where you can actually see the MEV extracted right now on chain. And yeah, I hope this will be solved. And if we solve it, we will be much stronger. Yeah. But good question. One question I want to say. Please bring this discussion to the forum, then I can also share some more in-depth articles or opinions about that. Yeah. You're on mute, Slavian. Sorry.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're going to have to be a bit selective because we're running a bit out of time. But I think one of these would be very edifying for the community. To answer, what do you think, Amadeo?
We'll have enough throughput for the.
Yeah, it's about the.
Yeah, so like I always say, like I think we should be Ethereum native, and I think that's probably the strongest to be, especially as more like an institutional product, and also as a community, but. We are always looking at different layer 2s, but we always take into account the different security trade-offs that are being made there. But like I'm actively looking at Matic or like at other chains. I actually research all the other chains. I have notes at home of different chains, and I look at them very carefully. What you need to consider is that some of these chains, they look very nice now. For example, Binance Smart Chain looked nice, but I already saw this in the beginning. It's not really going to work. And we can already see that Binance Smart Chain is not really working out that well for a lot of projects. If you go to rect.news, you will see what I mean. So there's some issues there right now with also syncing of the blocks and all that stuff. Same with Polygon has some issues right now as well. During the latest crash, and Ethereum survived that very well. So from a security perspective, I would say we should stay on Ethereum, but definitely it needs to scale. But I think it give it a couple of months, and then it will be much better. It's already much better right now with the flash bots and the MEV issue being moved off chain. So that resolves already a lot of issues as we see now in the gas costs as well. So we're actively looking at alternative solutions, but I think for sure that Ethereum will be a place where we would do that. And we're also actively, it's one of my favorite, ZK Sync. We actually, I didn't mention this, we actually have a call next week with one of the main core developers of ZK Sync to go over some technical questions that we have on maybe implementing some layer 2s. And wouldn't it be cool if we are the first fiat gateway into a layer 2 solution? I think that would be super awesome. And then an actual layer 2, like Matic or Binance Smart Chain, not layer 2s, just side chains, like ZK Sync or Optimistic Rollup, they're actual layer 2s. And I think if we build a fiat gateway for them, that would be super interesting.
Okay, amazing. So we've had a great share of technical questions. For the rest of the technical questions, I'm going to ask you guys, please create topics during the forum, and then Amadeo will have a lot more time, and the other devs as well, to actually go in depth into your questions, into your ideas as well. And that will help us a lot. So just maybe a couple of other questions. The referral scheme. Ravi, I've seen you ask this a couple of times. No, I've been looking at several of these options. I may have already something definitive to present next during the next AMA. But be sure you're going to be handsomely rewarded, obviously, as you should be, for going out there. And there are solutions for this, for handsomely rewarding community members. And that's what I'm looking at. So this is a very interesting question because it goes beyond the wrapping and unwrapping. Is the process simple once we're KYC? Is it really, I mean, is like back and forth like natural, or does it include any more steps? Because until now we've said, yes, there's wrapping, there's unwrapping. We've given the community a process, but we've not specified more details after you are KYC. So what can you say about this?
So the answer is yes. The process to wrap and unwrap is very simple once you're KYC'd. So essentially you're included in our corporate registry, which means that you're officially recognized as a shareholder, of the right to like vote, attend meetings, receive dividends. Is the way that that Swiss law works. You actually can see, I think the process. Well, the whole equity token is like it's open source. You can see it. You can see it in our Git. So the question I think then is like, will there be a premium with dividends? And that probably is right. I mean, that's the way it works in the real world. So they say, it's called with and, basically stocks trade with and without dividends, including technically on the date that dividends are to be paid, because you have to be a shareholder of record in the real world. It depends, like T+2 to T+6 or something like that in advance, because it used to be that they would mail you a dividend check. So stocks do trade like that. And yeah, WCRES would potentially trade like that, but we're gonna make it extremely simple to like, to go from a wrapped version to an unwrapped version to get your, to get your dividends. That's the way it has to be at the moment under Swiss law. Our real hope in the future is that that we are able to push dividends to chain, including for the wrap versions, and that is actually being discussed at the moment in Switzerland. But it's not the case at the moment, and to be honest, everybody needs to be aware that it is like, this is a startup, So like we're hoping to get to be like a position where we pay dividends pretty soon, but it's like that, as from all of our correspondence and what's in the IM, it's dividends are not intended to be imminent. So we're working on it. We're working on it though. So
I think this answer is going to be relief, because in a couple of days ago we've been having some very frequent questions about the unwrapping, the wrapping, and the dividends. And I hope this gives you guys a couple of guidelines on what to expect in terms of simplicity of the process as well, but also on timeframes.
Yeah. So when with our product launch, as that comes out, that the idea eventually is in some of our versions, not the very first version, but it's going to be included in other versions of the app eventually, and we'll also eventually be including like really easy to understand videos on our on our website, so people can see exactly how you how you do it. So.
Okay, wonderful. So any closing remarks? I think we're pretty, the viewership is dropping off. I think we're boring people in some kind of way. So maybe we'll reserve a couple of other things for the next AMA. What do you say?
Yeah, it's great. Thanks everybody for your time. Thanks everybody for joining.
Thanks everyone.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Questions.
Take care. Till next time. Bye.